And here we go. It is Monday the 7th, and we are live. Welcome, everyone, to our Success Mastermind for the 7th of February, 2022. John Lavenia here with you. I just want to make sure this volume is turned off on YouTube. There we go. All right, good. I'm glad to be back here with you. I am on friggin' fire. I've had a great few days. I know we had a few others, namely Ivier and Shannon, my secret weapon, holding down the fort while I've been traveling. I've been at a business leaders conference out in Texas, where it was the coldest weather they've experienced in 15,000 decades or whatever, and call the press. And anyway, we got through that. So I'm back here at home with y'all, and I did want to give a shout out to Linda Landry, who I don't see here with us live right now. But Linda, when you see this on the recording, I had, and I guess this is the power of the mastermind, right? I had a mystery in my life, because we moved into this house. And the garage needs serious updating. So there's wooden shelves that people built and nailed into the walls and whatever. And so I'm like, rip all this crap out. I want nice, modern, clean, right? Put my Harley there, my big tool chest, right? And so, but the walls are like sandy. I'm like, what? It's like a gritty wall. Is it like concrete? Is it like cement? What is this? And Linda said, stucco. And I was like, stucco? Isn't that like for the outside of a house? So anyway, having being coachable as I am, I got online and I researched stucco. Like, what is the word stucco? Which is Italian for plaster, by the way. That's what stucco is. But there's different kinds of stucco. You see, there's the interior, the exterior, the lime, or the different things you can mix it with as a binder, right? And so I got a whole education on stucco. And sure enough, that's exactly what it is. So for $10, I went to Home Depot or Lowe's or whichever one's down the street, and I got the bucket of stuff. It's just like spackle, okay? But it's a sandy, stucco patch thing. And I put it on the walls. I ripped the shit off the walls. I put it on the walls, right? Patched up the holes. Perfection. Perfection. Linda, it is stucco. You are so right. Thank you, Linda Landry. She's here. She's here with us right now. Linda was right. Linda, you get to be right about stuff every now.
I do.
It
what,
was
are you talking
stucco.
about me?
Yeah, I was just celebrating how you helped me understand that there is such a thing as stucco, and go research it and figure out. And yeah, stucco. Remember we were talking about the interior walls. Why are they sandy? It's like sandy.
It's stucco.
Yeah, stucco. And like the patch, it's like a spackle, but it's like some sort of chemical polymer, whatever, with sand. There's sand in it.
Mm. And they put it on wire, correct? It's on. I've seen it done.
I'm just patching up nail holes,
yeah.
But inside, right? I always thought it as an Arizonan, framed stucco is a type of construction. And there's the frame, and then there's, I guess, the chicken wire and the insulation or whatever, and then they blow the stuff on there, and that's stucco. Hey, right? What the hell do I know? So I'll tell you what, I am getting an education. Yeah. So anyway, thank you guys for that. Hey, guess what? Tonight we have the first half. I'm talking about our book study group. We have the first half of the 8 Pillars of Prosperity by James Allen. That's going to be happening at 9 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. This is good stuff, you guys. If you want to send a friend who wants to tune in and participate in our lofty, highbrow philosophical discussions on the greatest writings of all time, you can send them to jlsuccessmastermind.com/books, and they can go ahead and get on the list. So yeah, I'm going to be reviewing the first 4 of 8, right? Because we're going to do half the book. So read half the book, read about 4 of the 8 pillars, and then we're going to discuss those tonight. Pillars of what? Pillars of prosperity. Which, just the word prosperity, when I think about it, it's, different images come up for different people as we talk about that. And I want to talk about that with you right now in our general session today, just here with, some of my favorite people on the planet. But the idea of prosperity conjures up different images for different people. I think it's a more inclusive word than riches, right? Or wealth, prosperity. It is, in fact, if you look in some of the etymology of that word, it's about being able to get the result you want, to attract things to you, to cause things, right, that are pleasing, and that you're in that flow, whether you're prospering with that. And so I was thinking about that as it relates to the prosperity that's been created in the lives of many people by those who seek it themselves, and don't seek to hoard their knowledge, but seek to lift others up alongside of them. Now, I know in our common, modern society, at least my observations have been, a lot of times, depending on what groups you find yourself in, or choose to show up in, a lot of times there's people either keeping to themselves, or every man for himself, that sort of me, I'm the only one, right? Look out for number one, that sort of a thing. And certainly we all, well, I certainly do celebrate the individual, right? If we're looking at, here's a group of people, whether that's a corporation, a business, a nation, right? This mastermind group, whatever. Well, that's important, right? And it's got its purpose. And within that, hopefully, right, are other successful individuals, which are the component parts of that group. Okay, so without prosperous individuals, you can't have a prosperous group, right? So just like when we think about, here we're talking about, building materials and stuff. Okay, but if you think about like the foundation of a building, for that building to have structural integrity, there must be a strong foundation. Otherwise, you're building on sand, right? So this is important. The individual is important. I was thinking about one individual who definitely did not keep to themselves the prosperity that they sought, and the methods and learnings that they experienced as they were becoming more and more prosperous in their life. And this person just passed a couple of days ago, and they had a tremendous impact on my life as I was becoming successful and seeking prosperity in my life. And that is Bob Proctor. So maybe you guys don't know, but Bob Proctor is no longer doing the human body thing. He's off to his next adventure. So thank you, Bob, for all you brought. Here's a guy who definitely did not keep it to himself. And the more you put it out there, the more you get it back, it seems, right? Now, this is a concept that I was first exposed to, this idea of sharing, this idea of, some people call it paying it forward, being a contributor of again, the word contribution. A lot of times people think, oh, give money to charity or something. No, hold on. Contributing what? Contributing thoughts, ideas, demonstrations, examples of right living, and correct application of philosophy or scripture or whatever, right? And so I was thinking about the first time I was exposed to that idea was how I got my start into all this personal development stuff, which was through like 12-step fellowships, where, and you can picture this if you haven't experienced this for yourself. Just imagine a bunch of people who really were down and out on life, drinking themselves to death and drugs and all this, getting together in a daily meeting and, talking about, living sober and doing more resourceful stuff rather than just drinking yourself to death, right? And so as I experienced the I guess tutelage, mentoring, examples, right, suggestions from others, as I experienced that and applied them into my life and put them to use. That's the thing, application, putting things to use. We're going to read this book. We are reading this book, The 8 Pillars of Prosperity. It's nice to sit there and to read and think that you're lofty or something or learned, but it's another thing entirely to put it to use. So anyway, as I started putting this stuff to use in my life and things started to work in my life, I heard myself showing up in that same environment, and I don't want to say parroting, okay, although it's not like a new truth or something, but giving my take on here's how this stuff worked for me. Now, that may seem, here's the lesson I think in all this, that may seem terribly mundane. So if Lindsay heard John Lavenia say something 2 years ago, and she goes out into the public and or has a podcast or a book study group or whatever Lindsay does to carry the message, so to speak, that she got years ago and that's working in her life, and that others before her said years ago. Is that like trite or mundane or unworthy, right? Well, hold on a second here. The ideas that Proctor was sharing, he didn't originate. In fact, I heard him say multiple times in seminars and things that I've been to with him, where he's like, I can boast and speak in superlatives about all these ideas because none of them are mine, right? So here I am telling you how great this teaching is, but I didn't originate any of this. Okay. In fact, Johann Goethe said, all intelligent thoughts have already been thought. All we got to do is try and think them again. So yes, it's good and right and valid for you to pay it forward, even if you feel like, am I an imposter right now? I mean, I didn't originate this stuff. When and this is what some people think, when John Lavenia gives an idea, it's like from the ethers. And yeah, I don't pre-plan any of this stuff, but I've had so many inputs over the decades. I've got so much ammo. And then, finding how this stuff works in my life and just observing it, right? It's not like, here I am with test tubes and trying to do science or something. Although, what is science but observation? Just simply observing, hey, that worked or that didn't, right? It may come out in a different way where the guy 3 years ago couldn't hear it, but the guy today who's listening to you, not even listening to me, he's listening to you, he gets it now because of your experience. This is what gets us into prosperity. Remember the idea of flow, the idea of being able to create the results you want, to attract and to cause and all this, right? So that is a two-way flow. When a lot of times people think of wealth, they think of accumulation of wealth. Especially if there's been a lean condition where people think I need to hoarding, right? That's the answer. Okay, well, that's a one-way flow, and it's also a stop. One-way flows are stops, right? If I talked to you and you never responded, that would be a one-way flow of communication and a stop, not a dialogue, not a prosperous. And in this case, we're talking about the tide going in two different directions, right? That would be a situation where we're stuck between cause and effect. In other words, if one party is always cause and the other is always effect, right? Then there's no two-way flow with that. So it's now your opportunity, your responsibility to then go ahead and take the position of cause and to have an effect elsewhere, right? To cause something to happen over there. And so now we're in the flow with that stuff. And now we can experience more nuanced and more numerable aspects of the application of law and principle and everything that we talk about here by whatever means and whatever methods, right? I think everybody here knows I don't care about the methods, right? As long as they're good and just, right, and ethical, well, then go do whatever methods you want to do. But we're married to the results here. Results. The whole point of reading the books and discussing all the things we discuss is that you can be, do, and have more of what you want in your life. The results, that's what we're interested in. And with the scientific approach to prosperity and with all the stuff we've read, the science of getting rich and all this, being a good observer, it's good to have more samples, right? So if you, let's say you were a scientist in a lab and you were doing an experiment and this chemical plus this chemical causes this result. Okay, well, that's nice. That happened once. Can you do it 100 times? Can you duplicate that? Peer-reviewed studies. Can somebody else do it? Right? That's real science, by the way, right? Observe, 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 try and break it, right? Here's your theory. Does it hold water? I don't know. Let's get 100 people on that, right? Tom Edison. We've talked about Tom. Here's a whole staff of scientists and engineers trying to figure out how to make a light bulb, right? 10,000 failed attempts. It wasn't just Tom. Okay. These guys were on staff. failing again and again and again. Finally, he got it. Suck the air out of the tube. Then the filament won't burn itself out so quick. Get rid of that air. That was the answer. So, so knowing that, have we held ourselves back because somehow we're not as prosperous, whatever we think that means, as we should be? We're not qualified yet to go be the mentor. Look, Proctor, back to him as an example. When I met him, he was already decades down the road. In fact, I remember him holding up a copy of Think and Grow Rich, which was all leather bound, like an original leather bound, all beat to crap, right? He's like, I've been reading this copy for 30 years, right? And that was like 30 years ago. He said that. Okay. So is he qualified yet? I mean, he's only been on the path for 30 years. So probably, he doesn't know enough yet to go ahead and teach me. No, he didn't assume that. Because look, you never arrive, right? You never arrive. What if the guy had waited till he's 80 something? Well, too late. He's out, right? And how much time do you have? I guess is the question. So when would now be a good time for you to get prosperous and let others know that you are? When would now be a good time to do that? Or is there something you need to qualify for? You're waiting for a recognition from some third party. Well, let me, bequeath unto you. Here's the sword, right? You get on your day, right? You are now the messenger. Linda, you are now qualified, says me. And look, sometimes we've all read, well, those of you who've been hanging around for a while, right? We've read The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. And in that book, he talks about ancient healings and where the person had the talisman, the bones of the saint, or the holy shrubbery, or whatever it is, right? That they like believed this was the answer. It wasn't them, okay? But this was the answer. The actual answer was they believed. The actual answer was that they bought that deal or that story, or whatever it was. Now, so many of us have bought the story that you can't, or you're not, or, insignificant, not up to par, whatever the stories are. And as long as we keep, living those stories, we keep deferring our own prosperity to some imagined future where we'll somehow be more able, more qualified, more something than we are now. Carpe diem, right? Seize the carp. Seize that carp right now. That's what's coming up for me today. Prosperity is now. And look, we've all experienced it to whatever degree you've experienced it, right? Nobody who's on here right now has failed to survive up to this point, right? So something's working for you. You're quite able, you're quite competent, right? And I've even heard, like in the motivational speeches, sometimes people talk about, back to the whole science thing. So here is the female egg and the male sperm, and there's like 10 billion sperm, and you were the one out of the 10 million who got the job done. Look at what a winner you are. So from conception, right? So, okay, good. If we're going to buy stories, well, let's buy some empowering stories. I like that one. That's a good one. Yeah, I'm the most powerful sperm. That's my new nickname, by the way, powerful sperm. No, it's not. Please don't call me that. But look, if we're gonna give ourselves reasons and have all these considerations, well, why don't we choose good considerations then? I mean, since we're doing the thinking thing, hopefully, well, let's think what we want to think, and let's speak that into reality, so to speak. In other words, we think on these things of good report, right? As Paul said in the Bible, we think on these things, and what you validate expands. That's real. Oh, that's real. Okay, great. Well, guess what? You keep attracting whatever's real for you. What's real for me is I kick ass. I'm awesome. That's real. Now, of course, remembering that in the face of, all the, inputs and impingements, There's the trick. In other words, staying in present time with that. Like once we have that moment of clarity and just remembering that, remembering it. I've been doing this for the last couple of weeks. In fact, I already singled out Linda, so I'll single her out again. But I had this sitting, being quiet, meditation time, right? And I got this 3 words. 3 words came up for me. I am cause. Now that's not a new datum, okay? We've been talking about cause and effect here for a long time. But I am cause. It got in me. Like it got through. And then I went out into my day, into my actions. And then with every appearance, with every opportunity, with every doing this, right, I just remembered I am cause. And then I had a conversation with Linda. We had we were talking about some business thing or something. And I remember asking Linda, who is cause? She said, oh, I am. Great. Now we know who's causing stuff, right? So it is very easy, requires no thought to slide into the victim role of I am effect. The world offers you that all day, every day. But if we can, in present time, remember that right now, I am cause. Even if it's just looking at, here's a circumstance that I find unpleasing, and remembering I am cause. Therefore, what part of this could I be responsible for? How did I cause this? What part of this did I cause? And assigning cause to myself. Now I've got what? I've got an opportunity to do something about it, right? If you're always effect, well, effects don't create effects. You can never be effective. Go be cause. Okay, great. So what can I do about this? And maybe the answer is nothing. Abandon. I'm not interested. I'm out, right? Maybe, part of being responsible is knowing what you're not responsible for. Okay, great. If it's not my deal, then it's not my deal. But if it's showing up in my life, then to whatever degree it is my deal. Even if it's just a consideration about, I am now going to choose, again, I'm cause. I'm now going to choose to put more attention on this, or I'm now going to choose myself to not put more attention on this. Even something as simple as that in the moment. If we can remain conscious that we are causative, at least to the degree that we're participating, even observing. That's participation. The scientist in the lab, he's observing. That's responsible for that, right? So if that's our intent, right, is to be bigger, stronger, faster, more and more prosperous, starting right now, then I think right now in present time, what we've got to do, what I'm doing, is remembering that I'm cause. And then because I'm validating that idea, I'm finding more and more ways where, yeah, I'm effective. See how that works? The more causative you are, the more effective you are. That's amazing. And here's what else it does. It gives me an opportunity to divorce myself from the stories about it, right? So all the suffering and the stories and why I can't and what's wrong, blah, 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 right? Past, future, blah, right? It gives me an opportunity to get back to the present time and be a bit objective. Just objective. Just look. Just observe. This is like way powerful stuff. And look, this isn't a new truth, okay? And this is, I didn't originate this, so don't think, wow, John Lavenia just solved the answers of the universe. There have been plenty of philosophers who have observed life and before me. I'm just letting you know that this is working in mine. And prosperity is real right now in your life. We're going to be talking about that more tonight. The 8 Pillars of Prosperity by James Allen. There's a philosopher. There's a guy. My goodness, read that. All right, so everybody read that. We're going to discuss it tonight. Bring some ideas. Bring a friend if you want, and we're going to dig into some James Allen stuff. I've not read this one before, so we're going on an adventure together. I don't know if any of you have read it. I know Stuart has. We'll probably hear from Stuart tonight. Anyway, I'm done talking. Believe it or not. Do you have some thoughts you'd like to share on this whole idea of prosperity as we dig into this book for the next 2 weeks and How does this show up in your life? Please come on out. Missy, you've got the floor, my friend.
You guys got to be quicker on the button. I mean, anyway,
Quick draw
this
McGraw.
knowledge it's eternal knowledge. It's part of us, put into us, and some people have spoken it very well. But every generation has to pick it up and renew it, and every individual of each generation has to apply it and pass it on. Otherwise, it gets buried under the sands of time. And I consider myself, back with the mug stuff, when people were coming to me, I considered myself, at first I was like, I can barely live here. They were coming to me and I said, I'm Laveniaing. I'm jumping. And, but I'm missying. But with your guidance and the things that I learned through you, that you learned through others. And, yes, I intend to leave quite the footprints on this planet, which until I met you might not have happened because my stories were very strong. And now I am breaking through. And again, thank you. Forever I'll be thanking you. So, but yes, every generation has the responsibility to pass it on. And this book club is so important and these meetings are so important. And so I got a meeting right after this. I can't wait to go into it with this mindset and this energy that you have provided us. So thanks again, John.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, Missy. And the transformation is real and it doesn't take 10 million years, right? So just look at Missy, everybody. Amazing stuff. Amazing. All right. So we got, let's see, Catherine's here, Daisy, Edward, Gail, John Apogee, Linda's here, Lindsay, Mandy. Any other thoughts on prosperity right now? All right. No other thoughts. Shall we keep this tight? Keep it brief. Just know that I love you guys. Like this is from the heart. And I know I may seem more emotional than usual. Maybe you're observing that, maybe you're not. Not just because of the passing of one of my mentors, but just because I'm recognizing more how valuable each of you are. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, or you're just, you're thinking, well, he's talking to somebody else. He's not talking to me. Certainly, I mean, I see some of my, my closest, dearest people in my life here with me right now, live on the Zoom. But you can own that for yourself because, again, like it's been written in so many of these books that we've read and everything else, there's only one source. All right. So how different are we really? And I think anything that brings us together, talking about humankind, physical universe, right? All of it, anything that brings us together in recognition of, those bonds, that commonality and that really the universal substance, right? On a spiritual level, anything that does that, I think is good and right. And all the dissent and division and all that, man, that's the work of evil. That doesn't mean you just go into agreement with everything. No, that's not what I'm saying. Okay, but if we can recognize that each of us are far more valuable than we may demonstrate on the surface, I think that puts it in a nice perspective. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Bob, for all your service. And let's get together tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern US time. Bring a friend. I'll see you guys then. Okay. Have an awesome day. You totally deserve it. We'll see you soon.